Speaking of tax scams, here's the thing. You know how the railways used to belong to us? They did. The railways and the water companies in America, they all used to belong to us. And then they got privatised, and they've all turned to rubbish, and they don't work because they're run by horrible people. So when the railways were ours, before the government sold them off in 1994, we subsidised the railways with somewhere between £1 billion and £1.5 billion, as you'd expect. Now that they're no longer ours, instead of giving them £1.5 billion, like you'd expect, we give them £4 billion, like you wouldn't expect at all. I mean, as far as not meeting with expectations goes, I'd put that up there with buying a punnet of seasonally available soft fruit and finding Jeremy Hunt's resignation letter inside a strawberry. There it was all the time. It's the last time I go and do pick your own drunk. We subsidised the railways, £4 billion of taxpayers' money, so, Jimmy, you can ignore this bit. £4 billion a year, 35% more than any other nation in Europe, despite massive growth in UK rail traffic of 57%. Rail customers pay 30% higher fares than any other nation in Europe to ride on a privately owned rail network sold for about 20% of its actual value, which is about 40% less efficient than any other nation in Europe, but doing 57% more business than it was when we undersold it 99% faster than we should have done. Now, if you add those percentages together, and I'm no mathematician, but if you add those together, we can say with some confidence that the railways are approximately 8,000 times crapper than they should be. And I think we conclude fairly solidly that we have been 100% right in the by a bunch of totally inept
replacement bus service.
So, what I propose is that we give our railways to Jersey, and then they loan them back to us, and we then ride on them for free, using the people who sold them in the first place as a sort of rich, buttery fuel. The government commissioned a report by Sir Roy McNulty. Now, the McNulty report recommends we lose 30% of off-peak rail services.
We regret to announce that the train you thought you wanted to take is now more efficient and therefore doesn't run anymore because it's more efficient. Thank you.
So, 30% of services stopped, or 100% of the service you need to take if that particular off-peak train happens to be the one that carries you to work, or home to your family, or to the places where trains go, like York or Hogwarts, or just outside the station due to a signalling failure. The McNulty report also questioned the extent of the regional rail network. You see, that's the problem. People seem to be wanting and even expecting trains to take them to places, and that represents a massive inefficiency for the poor old rail operators.
We'd like to remind passengers to not want to go to so many places, please. It is making our job very difficult. Thank you.
If you want to make more money on the railways, here's a way. You fine the rail companies per word for every stupid, overlong announcement they make. I do not need to know that Leeds is my next station stop. I know it's a station. We're stopping. Just say Leeds. Say it twice if you like. Leeds. Leeds. If you're on a train and you don't know that the thing with platforms are signposts and people and 7 pasty outlets is a station, you're not qualified to use a train. God, these announcements are so utterly pointless for normal, functioning humans. For your comfort and safety, First Connect Capital Premier Executive Direct Network Capital Locomotive Express Railway Train-based System recommend that passengers in possession of a breather ticket continue to allow the circulation of blood and oxygen around the body. I do not need full details of the buffet, which isn't a buffet. That's not how buffets work. Buffets have paper plates and you help yourself to as many Scotch eggs as the paper will support. You do not have a full range of sandwiches. A full range of sandwiches includes all the things in the world in some bread. Oh, my good man, I'd like a diamond sandwich from your full range of sandwiches, please. No, in fact, I think I'll have a rocket and melancholy sandwich. Both kinds of rocket, please. Peppery lettuce and Stevenson's. I'd like this train in a sandwich with me inside eating a sandwich and some crisps by Escher. Say you subsidise the railways. Just stop people talking. I don't wish to alight or detrain. I'll get off. If I want to detrain, I'll go back to university and try to forget the things I learned. Very simple. We charge the rail operator £100 for every useless, unnecessary word they use over the PA system, and hey presto, we'll have enough spare cash to send our money on a holiday with Jimmy Carr. Thank you.